Hello and welcome. You're watching Business Today Television. I'm Sakshi Batra, with me is Shail Bhatnagar, and this is Market Today, a show where we'll help you understand the closing action on the D Street. Well, it's looking much better in the markets now. We are 192 points higher in trade as far as the Nifty is concerned, 24,185. A sharp bounce has taken place in the second half of the trading action, led by the banks, of course, which have inched higher by nearly over 900 points. 52,125 is back on the Nifty bank, and 1.8% of a surge can be seen here. Financial services are definitely gaining ground, 2% higher for this one. Private banks are up by 1.8%. PSU banks are also up by 1.7%. All across the board, banking and the financial names have definitely taken the top spot in getting this recovery into shape. Metals, however, continue to shine bright. Right from the morning, they had been in the leading zone, 2.7% higher. It's the top moving sectoral index. Along with metals and the financials, you do see autos in thick gear. You can see a 1% uptick on this one. Oil and gas, real estate, and even the broader markets have inched higher into the green now. Barring the FMCG, pharma, and the media sectors, rest all of the sectors have actually pulled up back into the green. The top movers on the Nifty right now are JSW Steel with a 4.5% uptick, Hindalco that's up 3.8%, Tata Steel, Bajaj Auto, Axis Bank are the other top movers as far as the Nifty is concerned right now. Good afternoon, Shail.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's a nice green color as far as the Lal Street is concerned. If you just look at the advanced decline number, you will see that after days of relentless and endless selling almost, you have a very nice movement towards the uptick. 1600 stocks are in the green and almost 800 are in the red. So this is a decent 2:1 advanced decline ratio. We track 19 indices for you. Out of 19, 16 are in the green. The rally today is led by the Nifty Metals Index, 2.8% higher. All 15 shares comprising the Metals Index are in the green. And more importantly, if you look at how the Metals Index has performed on a 5-day basis, you'll realize that this is the only index that is up 1.9% or so. This is, of course, the best performing index as far as the 5-day change is concerned. So metals is where it is, and you can see the preponderance of bulls on the metal side. If you look at the F&O space, out of the top 5 F&O players in the market in terms of gains, you have at least 4 of them being metal counters. Steel Authority is up 4.5%. You have JSW Steel up 4.4%. Hindalco, Sakshi pointed out, 3.6% higher, and of course NMDC 3.3% higher. Not to forget Tata Steel, 3.6% higher. Even when you look at how gains are progressing within the activity of futures, it's State Bank of India, which is the top traded counter, up 2% today. Remember, we had discussed the Nifty PSU banking index right in the morning, and this is where the strength is coming on for that index and for the PSU banking sector in particular. SBI, India's largest public sector bank by assets, and in fact the largest bank by any measure, is up 2%. It is also contributing 18 points to Nifty's rising tally. And of course, when you look at how volumes have shaped up between SBI, you see a strong move coming in terms of volumes as well. Within the Nifty, you have SBI about 1.6 times the 5-day average. 2.13 crore shares have been traded. But metals and metals all the way, JSW Steel is 4 percentage points higher. This is the most active counter by volume on the NSE, 3.2 times the 5-day average. And if you look at the overall advanced decline picture on the Nifty, you see the index surging 0.75%. 34 out of 50 stocks are in the green. As far as the Fin Services Index is concerned, 19 out of 20 are in the green. And on the broader NSE 500, 314 out of 501 stocks are in the green. In our earlier morning commentary, I had mentioned that there were about 3 or 4 gainers only in the top 35 traded counters, but now it's a sea of green. Wari Energy, fresh record high, again post energies, this is post its earnings. It's the 6th day of listing. Now 3,400 crores worth of shares have been traded. Counter is up 13%. You have HDFC Bank, 2,600 crores worth of transactions done, 1758. Afcons, the company that got listed yesterday at a discount, the IPO price was 465. It got listed at about 429, is now at 485, 2.3% higher. So the risk on trade seems to be back on the Lal Street after sustained selling pressure. Let's see how far it continues. Sakshi.
Right. We will welcome our guest on board. We have with us Gaurav Dua, Head Capital Market Strategy at Sharekhan, now joining in with his views on the markets. Warm welcome. Good afternoon to you, sir. And thank you so much for taking the time out. It's a sharp bounce in the markets and a recovery from the lows. I think about a 1,000 point recovery on the Sensex from the lows. Mid caps have recovered about 700 points from the lows as well. And the Nifty is about 300 points higher from the lows of the day as well. Tell us, how are you really looking at this bounce? What is leading to this recovery in the markets, and do you think this is going to be sustainable?
Very good support from the 23,800 kind of level, which is actually good. And after the kind of fall that we saw yesterday, it was expected that the market could bounce. But we are still looking at this market to remain extremely volatile in the near term. And I think we still stand by our basic advice that you need to reduce exposure to small cap, micro cap, and you should not get overbought by the market in the short term.
Well, this could be a dead cat bounce for all we know. We've seen these happen over the last 2 or 3 sessions, but for the moment, it's a very welcome shade of green. Is this possibly short covering one of the reasons that the market is on its way up? Well, that's visible from the difference between what is the low of the day, both for the index and the super heavyweight index specialists. I'll just give you a very good idea. Look at SBI, 846 is where it is, 847 almost. The day's low is 826. Look at Reliance Industries at 1304. It's recovered substantially from its intraday low of 1286. Remember, all these stocks are trading at multi-month lows, and the selling pressure over the last 15, 20, 22, 25 trading sessions has been so intense that this is probably a short bounce that is coming back into the vicinity as people who have made these short positions book surprisingly high profits, and then the spring gets released. You have Axis Bank at 1173, recovering 40 rupees from an intraday low of 1133. Look at ICICI Bank, 20 rupees higher, now at 1297. The recovery is from 1263. As also you have TCS 1377, the low was 1341. So it's the bounce that is coming in, and from the contributory point, just look at how HDFC Bank is contributing 53 points, ICICI 37, Axis 23, SBI 70, and Bajaj Auto 11. It's banks, banks, and banks all the way. Sakshi.
Banks all the way. Let's get Mr. Dua to talk about this banking and the financial story. Do you think this is the best hiding place to be in right now, financials and banking space in this current setup in the markets?
In fact, banks have been underperforming. In fact, there has been asset quality issues in the NBFCs. NBFCs have been have underperformed a lot. Private sector bank is where we see a lot of people trying to hide. But I think if you are an investor taking a view of a year to this year and a half, public sector banks is what we believe offer us a lot of value. State Bank of India, BOB, PNB, you have seen BOB, PNB, Union come out with very, very strong numbers. We expect State Bank to also do well. So, I think this is time to accumulate these stocks. Also, I was on your show this a couple of weeks back, and I had offered some 5 to 8 names which I had said you should not buy right now lump sum. You should do a sip over next this 4 to 6 week, and we stand by that.
Okay, got that. So that's as far as the banking story is concerned. Uh, Gaurav ji, could you also help us understand how are you looking at the mid and the small cap spaces as well? Do you think this bounce will sustain there, or is it going to be again, a story which was going to see more volatility going forward?
So, that's a space where you have had a 17, 18 months of a rally. People have made a lot of
Yeah.
easy money. But I think next 1.5 years, where you need to be extremely careful, it is going to be the stock pickers kind of a market now. So you
Hmm.
need to do your homework before you buy it. And if you see across the board, most of the good small cap, micro cap are trading at around 35, 40 times their FY27 earnings. So
Hmm.
stocks are not cheap there.
True.
Sakshi, this is just the right time to look at how record highs are panning out in the market. Yes, there are record highs after a sustained monthly sell-off, and some of them, these names will sound familiar. Remember Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC? We had highlighted this about 20-25 days ago when the stock had just hit its IPO level, I think after 4 years of listing. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is now 4% higher. A very fine specimen of good corporate governance and growth, Suven Pharma from the mid-cap pharma space, a percent higher, 1333. National Aluminium, something that we have repeatedly mentioned on the long side, 234.7, 2.2% higher. And amongst lesser known stocks, Ganesh Housing, 1140, 10% higher. You have Sharda Crop Chem, 810, 6.3% higher. Pradeep Phosphates, something that our friend Raghavendra had pointed out yesterday, is now at 109, 5 points higher. And of course, the two newly listed babies in town, Afcon's Infrastructure, now at 487, and Vari Energies, 3381. Many other names, Sakshi, you will find interesting. Padamji Paper, we have a strong move coming into E2E Solutions, 4977, 5% higher. And of course, how can we forget Sharda Crop Chem, 810, 6.5% higher. So there is some sort of activity on quality mid caps, although the mood overall is somber on smalls and mids. The Nifty is now 210 points higher, above 24,200. Sakshi.
So those are the record highs right there. But Gauravji, how are you looking at the metal story? It's only going higher and higher. 3% uptick for the Nifty metals right now. Do you think the metal story is indicative of a Trump victory coming in and probably tariffs coming in for the Chinese as well? How are you really looking at the story unfold?
So, metal stocks started doing well because of the stimulus that we got in China. Post that, you also had this news that the safeguard duty on steel will be hiked by India. So I think these two have helped metal stocks bounce back very, very strongly. And we believe, metals will do well, though they tend to be extremely volatile.
Yes.
But that's a space where we are very, very positive.
Okay, and any key stocks that one should be really looking at? How would you really do that selection within the metals pack?
So, we are right now basically, I've been talking about this JSW Steel and the Steel Authority of India from the from these metal packs. Copper is one play, the commodity which we believe that do very, very well over next 4 to 5 years, but we haven't still shortlisted a stock in that space.
Okay, so that's as far as the metal story is concerned right now. You can see at least 3 out of the top 5 names on the Nifty, which are from the metals pack. Along with it, banks are definitely taking it away. Axis Bank, HDFC Bank are the big contributors to the gains right now. HDFC Bank is 2.7% higher at 1760, while Axis Bank is 3% up right now. IndusInd Bank is now 2.2% higher in trade. SBI, Bajaj Finance, these are some of the other banking financial names that are also doing well right now. Gaurav ji, apart from the secondary markets, the primary market buzz has also, started off on a keynote here this week as well. We have Sagility IPO that's opened today. We have Niva Bupo that's opening tomorrow. Again, from the solar space, we have one more Acme Solar IPO is coming up. Swiggy is going to be opening in tomorrow. How can we forget? So all of these IPOs are going to be in thick action starting today. How are you really looking at the primary market space as an opportunity for investors in this very, very volatile set of the market?
So, IPOs have given a lot of upside to the investors, but the problem now is that markets are not in a one-way uptrend, number one. Number two, most of the IPOs are very, very aggressively priced. So that leaves very, very less on the table for the investors. That is what we have seen in this thing. Some of the IPOs, large names, that has been listed in past 1 month or so. So I think this whole, very, very easy money that was available in the IPO market will not be there anymore. So if you are applying for IPO, look at if you're going to hold it. So just to flip the IPO on the listing, I don't think thing will give you that kind of money anymore.
Are you excited about any of the names within the ones that I spoke?
So I think Swiggy has seen a lot of demand pre-IPO also, and I think that is this one IPO which we'll be eagerly looking out
for. Okay, let's look at some other parts of the market where a decent intraday recovery is taking place, and these are spaces where earnings are out, they are good, and now you see some decent upticks. Look at ABB, ladies and gentlemen. While the stock on a daily basis is still down 3.1%, but look at the recovery. This is from a low of 6935, and we are now at 7125. So it's almost 1 to 200 rupees kind of a recovery that ABB has shown, and this is accompanied by a very strong set of rise in net profit, rise in sales, and of course a rare rise in margins as well. It's a 200 rupee recovery on 200-day DMA as far as ABB is concerned. This is a chart and this is a stock that you should be watching for the long side. It's rare for ABB to be available at its 200-day DMA. The last time it happened was, this is a new revelation. The last time ABB was at its 200-day DMA, it was 25th of October 2003, and the stock was at 3,924. On a very, very bad day, the stock is at 7,131, and the most recent high is at somewhere like 9,225. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the strength of the 200-day DMA. Should you be interested in keeping an eye out in ABB, please speak to your financial advisor. These are times when you should be adding quality to your portfolio, of course with the advice of an independent market observer. What else is in good shape? So actually there are at least 15 stocks that I see which are up more than 10%. Let me take some names. Beaten down MRPL is 10% higher at 163. This is again a bounce from 200-day DMA. The most recent high on MRPL was 275. The counter is at 163. Let's look at another stock, Gland Pharma, 12% higher, 1813. It's a huge bar that has come in. 48 lakh shares have been traded today, and the counter is substantially below its 200 DMA. This is something which is worth watching. You have Orient Technologies, Vari Engineering, something that both of us have tracked. We have also Ganesh Housing, 9% high. Ganesh is at a record high, so of course this is blue sky territory. Again, one of those Ahmedabad-based real estate developers where a huge margin has been created. Let me see whether I can get you Ganesh's earnings or not. Sakshi, meanwhile, just can you look at the stock, Ganesh Housing?
Yes, absolutely. Ganesh Housing is definitely one of the top movers in the broader markets today. 1135 and a 9% uptick can be seen on this one. If
Yes.
we look at the kind of move, it's a 97 rupee of an uptick that we have seen and a one-way move. Yes, it's now near the day's high and volumes are also pretty strong right now. 1136.75 right now, Shah.
Yes, I'll just give you the numbers that are now in front of me. Ganesh reported a fabulous set of second quarter earnings. Sales rose 45% year on year to 237 crores. Net profit rose 84% to 158 crores. And of course, EBITDA was up 67% to 203 crores. So if you see the net profit margin, it is 158 crores divided by 237 crores. It's a whopping 66% net profit margin. The company at 9,500 crores worth of market capitalization is available at a PE of 19. So when you go and hunt for value, ladies and gentlemen, this is what you see. A very nice surge in profit and profitability, and of course an area which is being liked by the market at the moment. So this is how it is. For the last 10 years at Ganesh, profit has compounded at 25% annually, and the stock price has compounded at 27% annually for the last 10 years. Sakshi.
Vari Energies does not pay, there's no let up, 18.9% higher now, and it's almost 565 rupees up at 3553. 3500 has been crossed as well for the first time on Vari Energies. 19% now, days high, all-time high on Vari Energies. Gauravji, help us understand this one. Stupendous listing happens, profit booking happens a few days later, and then comes this sharp up move again. How are you really assessing Vari Energies as a story for those who've been celebrating, the ones who have held on to their profits in the IPO allotments, and for those who were only waiting for an opportunity to buy in the dips and the stock has moved to a fresh record high? What will you say?
So, it's a great company, great business, but not available at the right price. So, if you see, it's trading at a PE of more than 100. Okay, this is after including the other income that we had in the last quarter, in the last year, sorry. So, I mean, its valuations are, does not give you that margin of safety anymore. So if you are a basic investor, you have bought it in IPO, I think you can take home some profits and then ride the wave. Sometimes these waves can take the stock to very euphoric highs, and that is what we are seeing. But buying this stock at this price is not something which will be advisable for small investors, because end of the day, if you have bought very good company, very good stock at the wrong price, you don't get the kind of gains from the stock which you can get from a stock which is available at the right price.
Okay, got it. So that's as far as Vari
256, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, sir.
Sakshi, I'll just mark a couple of stocks from the Adani stable that are doing very well. Remember, it seems that as if the market has completely forgotten about perhaps one of the most high beta groups, but we track 10 Adani stocks, and out of 10, 9 are in the green. Adani Energy Solutions 4.3% higher. Adani Wilmar 2.7% higher, about a 2 percentage point gains on Adani Power and NDTV. You have ACC from the cement side doing pretty well, 1.29% higher. And of course, the lone loser is Adani Ports, down 1.8, 1325. I want to see what Adani Enterprises is doing. Okay, they just raised a QIP 0.7% higher, 2918. Let's just see the railway pack, if there is any momentum coming back in all those stocks that we used to track ad nauseum. You have HBL Power 1.4% higher. Okay, what about the government railway stocks? No, IRFC is down 1.38%. Concor is flat at 835. You have nothing much to talk about in railway except for RVNL, up 0.8%. Early morning market has sold into it despite despite a rally on the Nifty. So RVNL has actually come down from 457 to 449. This is how railway is packed. PSUs, of course, it's the day for banks. Therefore, you see this sharp upswing across the board. MRPL I have already marked. Mazgaon from the defense pack is doing pretty good, 4% high. Actually, it's the oil business in the PSU segment that is doing pretty well because crude oil prices are 5% up. Oil India 4.8% higher, 495. You have Chennai Petro 3.4% higher, 635. These were all stocks that were beaten black and blue. Nifty 24,187, 190 points higher, and Nifty Bank taking it away 1.8%, 920 points higher, 52,125. Sakshi.
Got it. What we'll do is we'll quickly ask you before we let you go, Mr. Dua, to help us understand as far as going forward from here. Of course, we will get to see the results tomorrow or day after, latest for the US elections. Then all eyes will be on the US Federal Reserve. A lot more has to play up macro as well. How are you really advising the clients to really play in this market? And what is the best way to be safe yet be able to take the best of the opportunities that present themselves?
So, if you want to play the event, so there are a lot of this views here, but we believe if Democrats come back to power, I think it will be, it's business as usual, and markets will like it. But if the Republicans come to power, there could be a short-term rally, but then that should be followed by some kind of a selling pressure, especially in the emerging markets, because of all the talks about the tariff hikes, all the talks about the inflationary environment, and the possibility that the bond yields will go up in US, and that will strengthen the dollar. So Trump win could actually lead to some kind of a short-term celebratory kind of an upsurge, but that would be the time to sell rather than buy, because we believe the kind of policies that he's been talking about, those are not in the right direction in terms of the emerging market equity.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Dua, for being with us on this show to help us understand your views on the markets and the strategies that you have shared. All the very best to you. I hope you have a fantastic time till the time we meet you next on air. 24,214, 219 points higher in trade on the Nifty. This is being welcomed with both hands by all traders and investors after days of sell-off and carnage and bloodbath being seen. This is definitely a big relief. 983 points higher as far as the Nifty Bank is concerned. 52,200 now on the Nifty Bank. It's almost a 1.9% uptick, and this is the one that is fueled all the recovery in the markets right now. There are several banks that are supporting the move, including Axis and HDFC. Bajaj Auto, let's look at that one. A sharp up move, 3.7% higher. Now it's among the top movers on the Nifty as well. And a very strong move at 9882 now coming in on Bajaj Auto. Let's see where this goes from here on as well. Even in the F&O space, very interesting names coming in. You have Jubilant Foodworks, that's up 6%. JSW Steel Authority, of course, from the metal moves are definitely up in thick trade. Deepak Nitrite is up 4%. Bata is up by 3.5% as well. You have Manappuram Finance that we've discussed right in the morning too. As among those top movers. Even the PSU index, the public sector enterprises index is up by over 1%. Oil India, let's look at that one. Oil and gas space is definitely buzzing, 5% higher for Oil India now. That's a strong surge. ONGC was marked by Shell early in the morning as well. So now you have the other upstream major also pulling up sharply in trade. ONGC while up 1%, it's Oil India that's up 5. NMDC, PFC and REC are also pulling up about 2 or 2.5% each. HPCL, BPCL, IOC, they're all three of OMCs are also up and about. You have IRCTC, BEL also inching higher in trade as well. Metal space continues to be in thick action like we have suggested. Financial services, let's look at the top winners right there. So you have Cholamandalam Investment that's up 3%, ICICI Lombard is also up in trade, SBI Life. So insurance majors are also coming in thick shape. Both the Bajaj twins are up by about 1.5% as well. So that's the kind of move that we are seeing. Shell, what else has caught your attention?
Sakshi, I think there is still merit in looking at stocks where we still have a downturn happening, because they will now start reacting on the upside. Okay. And the ones that require mention are stocks like TVS Motors, stocks like MRF, let's avoid it. Nestle in particular, because the sell-off has been phenomenal. Look at Nestle from the point of view of its correction that has happened most recently after the earnings as well. This is a counter which is available below 200-day DMA, which is at 24.79. Counter is at 22.65. Sooner or later, you will see momentum coming back into Nestle, and the price that we see now is the lowest since October 2023. So these marquee names will again come back into a lot of buying support. The most recent high was 27.72, and from then we have corrected almost 20%, which is a good enough correction for a blue chip. It is available below 200-day DMA. Please also take a view from an independent financial advisor. And we have Mr. G. Chokalingam, founder and MD at Economics Research, joining us. Good afternoon to you, sir. A very warm welcome and belated happy birthday.
Thank you very much. So kind of you.
Belated birthday wishes for you, okay. Mr. Chokalingam.
We were just discussing. We were just discussing Nestle and Kit Kat chocolate for you. The counters corrected 20% from its most recent peak. Mostly the pain seems to be out of the market. I know you don't track large caps, and especially stocks where the PE is above 70 and 80. But does it merit a look at 2264, Mr. Chokalingam?
Two things I want to tell you. That now I have a research license, so I am no longer a financial advisor. So all my views are research views. And secondly, you are right that I never used to track large cap. In fact, ever since I came to public domain in 2006 till 2018, I never recommended any large cap stock in my life. Still, I survived in the stock market. But 18 and 19 taught me a lesson, and I corrected, my mistake. So at any point in time, I always say that minimum 30% exposure should be good to have. Sensex and Nifty, because I was in between, I was a fund manager also, portfolio fund manager. So I realized that even if you have a 30% exposure to large cap stocks, Sensex and Nifty stock, you can still beat Sensex and Nifty even in the worst condition when small and mid cap fall badly. So therefore, I do have coverage of large cap stocks. In fact, we had Nestle, we closed it a couple of weeks back before once again the meltdown started. So right now I would say that in contrary to what we discussed a couple of months back, So now I would suggest tilt towards small and mid cap stocks, because like last time I mentioned, there is a single digit growth syndrome that includes FMCG as well. The volume is growing in 4 single digit. So you have a lot of segments within Nifty and Sensex, starting from FMCG to cement, automobile, IT services, and so many sectors are showing single digit growth. So therefore, be choosy in the large cap. So I have recommended stocks like Coal India, Reliance Industry, ITC, HDFC Bank. So these are the 5 6 stocks I have. But I am suggesting for last few weeks, after 25 lakh crore of meltdown in the small and mid cap indices constituents, I am more biased in favor of small and mid cap. That is where I think in the short term you will have outperformance, because we all know the FIs are continuously selling. So their selling is not yet over, I believe. So a few more weeks they may sell. So therefore, there is a possibility of large cap stocks underperforming small and mid cap for another 1 or 2 months as well.
Okay, got it.
Mr. Chokalingam, the market is celebrating your birthday. Bank Nifty has just posted a 1,000-point rise, 52,251. See, last 3 digits, 251. It's a very lucky number. So I think you should at least help our viewers in naming one public sector bank that you like immensely well based on its good financials, that our friends and viewers can buy for a period of maybe 1 to 2 years.
Definitely, it would be either Bank of Maharashtra or Canara Bank. Unfortunately, I have not initiated a buy recommendation for my clients after successfully closing the calls on both. But I studied the results. Bank of Maharashtra is a one stock. For next 1 to 3 years, it could be a great stock. It was trading at a 2.5 times the price to adjusted book value. Now it has come down to 1.6, 1.7 times, and still the business is growing in strong double digit. And net NPA is 0.2%. This is what I used to say, that this bank is like a mini HDFC Bank, not in terms of size certainly, but in terms of the quality of the assets and growth. So this one stock, one can buy and hold for 1 to 3 years within the PSU banking space.
Okay. Mr. Chokalingam, how are you looking at this sharp recovery that has taken place in just the last 1.5 hours of trade today? Does it indicate that a near-term bottom has been made in the markets? We've tested 24,000, we've come back above it again. Or do you think this is just a dead cat bounce?
We can't say tomorrow what will happen, but I am extremely bullish that the investor at large will forget US election from next week onwards. It doesn't matter whether Trump comes or Kamala Harris comes. If Kamala Harris comes tomorrow, we may see some weakness. If Trump comes, the rally may continue. But all that will happen only for 2-3 days. Why I am saying is that similar view I always had for budget and state elections in the country. It doesn't matter much, because logically US cannot antagonize both China and India. It has to maintain the friendship with either one of them. So right now, it doesn't look like they can go very close to China. Rather, it would be very close to India only. And India also, the dependence on US is very high. We export more than $100 billion worth of goods and IT services. So it's a natural alliance that would last. So therefore, US election won't matter much for the market. So I was expecting market to bounce back next week, but surprisingly, it has happened today. But I have suggested my clients that by any chance tomorrow, day after tomorrow, because of the election, it falls. That should be taken as a good opportunity. So one should be ready with the money to invest in quality small and mid cap stocks. I'm pretty confident 2-3 months, this entire 25 lakh crore erosion in the small and mid cap, largely it will be recovered very fast.
Okay. So where
Sakshi,
exactly?
only those people will benefit who had the courage to buy the SBI Nifty ETF as Business Today had suggested. And mark my words, we had said break it up into 10 equal installments.
Yes.
Buy every other day. You should buy even today, as you should have bought on Friday. But such is life that people want to buy calls and options and puts and futures and call ladders and put ladders, but don't want to do the very basic of investing is buying into fear. Long after me and Mr. Chongalingam and all those who are in their 50s and 60s are long gone from this earth, the Nifty ETF will exist, it will compound, and it will make money. It is so simple that it does not even need to be written. Buy the ETF whenever the Nifty corrects sharply. That is all that you have to do. लेकिन वो कोई नहीं करेगा क्योंकि वो बहुत आसान काम है.
Exactly.
As people in the market, we want to do a lot of work intraday. We are very lazy otherwise कि हमें पैसा जल्दी कमा के दो, लेकिन अगर कोई आसान काम बता देना कि बस ये 2-3 चीजें कर लो, वो नहीं करना.
They can't believe it, that it can be so simple. Can be so simple. I think that's the belief.
It can be so simple.
Wonderful. Okay, so Mr. Chokalingam, if
Reliance
you have,
is available below 200 DMA. Yes, please continue.
Yes, no, exactly. You're right. Reliance Industries is the subject we should be discussing with Mr. Chokalingam. He's been the biggest vocalist of Reliance Industries on our channel. I remember him talking about how he considers Reliance Industry as an economy in itself. And he gave us this line which did wonders for our even website as well. The article was viral as well. Mr. Chokalingam, if you've not seen it, you must see it again and visit our page. When you had given us that interaction, it was printed on our website and it had gone viral. Do tell us, how are you really looking at Reliance Industries? It went sub below 1300 as well, and it's now right now up with the choppiness coming to shape. Bonus split has taken place. For all those who took the benefit of bonus, how are you advising now? For those who did not, how are you advising now on Reliance Industries?
Yeah, certainly. It's a phenomenal stock, definitely no doubt about it. It's unfortunately, it created a lot of wealth even for foreign investors, and when they were taking the money, obviously Reliance could have been one of the sources for them to sell and take away dollar from the market. Perhaps that is the reason the stock has corrected close to 20% from the peak. But I consider this as a great opportunity. As you rightly said, it's emerging as an economy, and it's getting into almost every big segment of the economy. And second, the smartest strategy is that, once upon a time, 100% of the revenue profits were from oil and gas related sector. And even today, there is a government intervention. Of course, that is for a right cause. It is not completely left to the market forces, oil and gas sector. So that is where the second success came from Reliance, reduce the dependence on oil and gas sector. Now, almost, the share of profit from oil and gas sector, including chemical, is less than 50% of the total profits. So obviously, this ratio, as the share keeps going down, the re-rating would happen. And third, they have proven their ability in Jio Mobile and then Jio Retail. I am sure they will prove that their capabilities in green energy, financial services, that is Reliance Financial, they are getting into almost every segment of the economy. So the management itself said that they believe in doubling the value. I believe in 2-3 years, not in 2 years, at least in 3 years, it should double the value from current level. So every fall, I suggest one should use that as a great opportunity to accumulate Reliance Industry. I would suggest even the Jio Finance. I believe what they have achieved in digital and retail business, they will be able to achieve in the financial service sector as well. And it is trading only at around 1.6, 1.7 times price to book value. And not only that, the investors are getting opportunity to join, the Reliance Jio before the business is built. So once a business is built successfully, you are not going to get it cheap. It can be anywhere around 3 to 4 times price to book value. So therefore, I believe this is a great opportunity to buy Jio when company just started evolving into a big conglomerate within the financial service sector.
And Mr. Chokalingam, Jio IPO they're talking about in 2025 now. Those reports are coming in as well. Do you think that will be the biggest trigger now for Reliance Industries to take flight, and for all those looking to take benefit, this is the right time to start accumulating the stock then?
Yeah, certainly. We have to see what kind of IPO, whether whether they follow Zero Finance model or diluting directly only the equity. Whichever way, either directly or indirectly, it will be beneficial to Reliance Industry. I saw the valuation of over $100 billion or around over 8 lakh rupee crore. I think that's a phenomenal. A couple of lakh crore, definitely they would be able to unlock in cash form by opting for a public issue, and that should strengthen the balance sheet of Reliance, and that should act as a input for what I was visualizing as a big economy in itself. So for that, this money would come very handy. So that will trigger a second level of growth for Reliance industry. So therefore, one should use this opportunity of around 18% correction in the stock for making long-term investment. That's my strong research view on Reliance.
Well, for those who've been listening to Mr. Chokalingham's view on Reliance Industries, please also consult an independent financial advisor before you commit funds to RIL. And be that as it may, but 2025 will see India's largest IPO ever. That will be from Reliance Jio, the telecom business, which is now the largest player in the telecom space, and of course has created a lot of history when it comes to democratizing costs of bandwidth and of course internet from 2016 August when it was launched. 3:19 p.m. ladies and gentlemen, it's going good, and it seems that by the grace of God, and Sakshi, remember Mangalwar ko Mangal hi hota hai. 211 points higher, 24,207. Birthday boy is with us, therefore another set of good wishes coming in from the market, and of course a nice deep shade of green. Let me just reiterate circuit hitters. Sakshi, I can't remember the last time we talked about 20% circuits on the long time, on the long side. It's been weeks and weeks, but let us enjoy this wonderful scenario till whenever it lasts, and let's at least tell you few that have hit 5%. This is the PC Jewelers, 5% higher, 157.37, although not a name that I would like to start with. Nevertheless, Indotech Transformers, we've referred this one very often, 5% higher, 24.48. RS Software, 5% higher, 264. You have TVS Electronics, 5% higher, 388. And of course, there are many names, but I'm just sort of whittling down the good ones that we can show on air. Sequent Scientific, 211, 5% higher. You have Hind Rectifiers from the railway space, quoting at 1218. I'm sure this is also somewhere near a record high, 5% higher. And of course, let's look at all-time highs again if the list has increased. No, the very same Aditya Birla Sun Life, Deepak Fertilizers, National Aluminium, Suven Pharma, and of course you have a strong move coming into Ganesh Housing, that's also at a record high. And there is absolutely no stopping Vari Energy, now a bit of profit booking, but still 15% higher. You have 4,465 crores worth of shares that have been traded. Today's number on the FII net sale figure will also be very interesting, Sakshi, because typically what is happening is that our SIPs, which are being deployed by domestic financial institutions in the market to offset the net sales of FIIs, are providing them with a very easy exit. There is no price damage. If DIIs one day decide not to buy, then these stocks will collapse 5, 7, 10% lower, and then FIIs may possibly rethink. But today's number will also make a lot of sense. We need to see that in a declining market, of course, FIIs are selling. But what happens in a rising market? If the net sale number is more than 4,500 crores, then we really know, Sakshi, that this possibly is a dead cat bounce.
Okay, Mr. Chokalingam, help us understand within the banks and the financial services space, where are you most bullish on right now? Where do you think this trend can absolutely continue and one should be lapping onto the momentum?
Obviously, mid-sized banks only, because the industry has slowed down. Last year, the credit growth was 16%, and this year it is projected to be around 12%. Apart from that, there are a lot of headwinds in terms of expected credit loss provision, the reduction in the credit deposit ratio, and even the CASA deposit. There is a rat race to retain the market share, existing market share. A lot of people are losing the share of CASA deposit in their respective total deposits. So even the deposit rates are heated up. So I have not seen these many headwinds. So therefore, for being a defensive, one can consider Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank. But probably to make alpha, one can look at some mid-sized bank, because I still believe that 5 years back we saw some of the consolidation happening in the banking sector. So once again, I believe that that possibility is there. One or two cases can happen, because now after this technological glitches, the banks have realized the importance of having physical branches, and after losing the CASA deposit share, again they have realized the importance of physical branches. So some of these old private sector banks, they have got a excellent banking network and excellent relationship with the customers for generations. So those are the banks which are still trading at very attractive valuation as well, around 1 time book value. So therefore, apart from Kotak Bank and HDFC Bank, in the mid-sized space, one can consider like CSB Bank, Karnataka Bank. These are the two banks, which I have studied intensively. I can suggest. Among all these, I personally hold the Karnataka Bank.
Right.
3:24, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the final throes of what has turned out to be a wonderful session for bulls that was seeking respite on the Lal Street for the last maybe 25 selling sessions, in which the Nifty has corrected from a high of 26,240 to a low of 24,800, even lower. Is the worst behind us? We really don't know. But what is good is that a wide part of the market has participated on the long side. Is this just short covering? Is it just value buying? Only time will tell. But the major event that is upon us, which is tonight, the US elections, let us hope that there is a clear mandate. There is no fight between the losing candidate and the winning candidate, as it had happened in 2020. That will spook the markets no end.
Yeah.
And let us hope that the 0.25 basis cut that is expected from the Federal Reserve, that also comes into picture. That will at least calm the US 10-year yield, which is the primary reason why you see this sharp sell-off that has happened in India. And of course, we need to watch the FII numbers for net sales today. But a great day. 24,200 on the Nifty, 204 points lower. The star of the day is the banking space, led by the top man itself, HDFC Bank, 1775. Out of the 900 points that you see in the green on the Bank Nifty, 453 have come by HDFC Bank. ICICI Bank has added 152, Axis Bank has added 125 points, and State Bank of India 104. Apart from this very strong show by the banking space, you have a very strong show coming in from the metals counters. Hindalco, NMDC, National Aluminium at a record high, Tata Steel, you name it, it's rallied very sharply. Let's hope that this new start that has happened on the second day of a fresh Samvat now remains the trend for the week. Sakshi.
Right, and since you took the name of metals, NMDC will be considering its earnings on Monday, as well as a bonus issue of shares as well. That's something that you should be really looking at, and that's probably one of the reasons behind its up move today, about 3.7% higher in trade for this one. This will be, in fact, the first time in 16 years that NMDC could be considering a bonus issue of shares as well. Mr. Chokalingam, how are you looking at NMDC?
Yeah, I saw the results, very surprising. Despite a lot of pressure in steel industry, its sales growth on year-on-year basis has been phenomenal, which is really beyond my expectation. And of course, there is a problem with the steel industry. The US steel industry is reportedly in the deflationary conditions. In India also, the import of steel is hammering the prospects. But still, one can hold NMDC in case there is any significant correction, one can buy the stock. Because the valuation wise, still there is a lot of comfort in it.
Valuation wise, there's a lot of comfort in it. Okay, so there you have it. You can definitely keep this bonus bound stock in your focus. November 11 is when the board could be okaying that as well. So keep that in mind too. Let us now start to wind up the markets. Mr. Chokalingam, pleasure having you with us once again. Birthday greetings from the entire team of Business Today Television. We've had the fortune of having you throughout the previous year to guide all our viewers right here. We hope the forward year comes in great shape for you as a person as well. I mean, like, have a fantastic year ahead, great health and wealth. And of course, you be with us on Business Today Television for various occasions as well. Starting to wind up the markets, 24,200. I hope it closes above that over the next couple of minutes. 200 point of an uptake on the Nifty. JSW Steel is the top mover, 4.6% higher. Tata Steel, 3.7% higher. Hindalco, 3.4%. Bajaj Auto, Axis Bank are the other stocks that are on the prowl as well. When we look at the top laggards, however, on the Nifty, what did not participate? Coal India, 1.9% lower. Adani Ports, 1.6% lower. Trent, about 1.5% lower at 6949. Asian Paints, ITC, Infosys did not participate into the moves in trade today. Barring the FMCG and media sector, rest all of the sectors have managed to pull themselves into the green, led by metals, private banks, PSU banks, financial services and auto space. All of them were up over 1% each in trade today. The PSU index ends with about 1% gains, with Oil India, Steel Authority, NMDC, PFC, IRCTC as among those which are the top movers right here. All right, viewers, what we will do is, okay, so JSW Steel Shell tells me has reported the consolidated crude steel production of 22.8 lakh tons for October 2024, and that is also pulling the stock higher. The total crude steel production, however, has been 1% on a year-on-year lower. We've also seen capacity utilization for the month of Indian operations, which has been, however, affected by some maintenance activity. But the stock is in fine shape in trade today. Let's see how it goes then tomorrow. Tonight is when we can hope to see some more indication as to who's going to be winning the US election results, and we will be talking more about it when we meet you tomorrow morning for another edition of Market Today. With that, it's a goodbye from both Shell and me right now, but do stay tuned. Business Today Television has lined up a slew of more shows for you even after the market hours. Stay tuned.
Chest thumping, beating trumpets. Both candidates for the US presidential election tried to ensure that their voters remain confident before the 5th November vote.
But all I can say is on Tuesday, just go out and vote, and we're going to close this thing out, and it's going to be party time. It's going to be party time. And this is really all you need to know. Kamala broke it, and I'll fix it, and we'll do it very quickly.